Jeffrey Epstein, he died. Now, I think he met death in a different form, in a different way than is reported by mainstream media. I just don't believe that he hung himself on suicide watch with nobody actually watching him. The man was on suicide watch, somehow managed to hang himself with no cameras. All the cameras happened to be off. All the guards happened to be asleep or going to McDonald's. He happened to have what he needed in his cell to hang himself with. And mind you, he's on suicide watch from a previous suicide attempt. And they wanted us all to believe that this is just something that happens. And you can't question it. So, he passed away just before he could really, stick it to some people. Or run his mouth too much. Get other people in hot water who may have been on the Leader Express or went to the Jeffrey Pedo Island. Right? Today's breaking news was alleged Epstein madam Ghislaine Maxwell arrested by the FBI. A number of counts for Ghislaine Maxwell. She's she is despicable. But don't listen to it just for me. Listen to New York prosecutor, I think it's a prosecutor. Listen to how they break down the charges on Ghislaine Maxwell. Check this out.
Good morning. My name is Audrey Strauss. I'm the acting United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York. Today we announced charges against Ghislaine Maxwell for helping Jeffrey Epstein sexually exploit and abuse multiple minor girls from the period of 1994 through 1997. Maxwell has been taken into custody early this morning in New Hampshire and will be presented this afternoon before a magistrate judge in the District of New Hampshire. You'll recall that the indictment against Jeffrey Epstein that we filed in July of 2019 charged Epstein with sexual abuse of young girls from 2002 through 2005. This case against Ghislaine Maxwell is the prequel to the earlier case that we brought against Jeffrey Epstein. As alleged, starting in 1994 until at least 1997, Maxwell had a personal and professional relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Maxwell was among Epstein's closest associates and helped him exploit girls who were as young as 14 years old. Maxwell played a critical role in helping Epstein to identify, befriend, and groom minor victims for abuse. In some cases, Maxwell participated in the abuse herself. As alleged, Maxwell and Epstein had a method. Typically, they would befriend these young girls by asking them questions about their lives, pretending to be taking an interest in them. They would take them to the movies and treat them to shopping trips. Maxwell would encourage these young girls to accept offers from Epstein to pay for their travel and their education, making these young victims feel indebted to Jeffrey Epstein.
Maxwell was a predator. She's a predator. Epstein, without Maxwell, Epstein's not able to pull this off. Epstein's not able to, he didn't have the social skills to move about with very young children and befriend them and interact with them and have them drop their defenses in order to groom them and to employ them to do various acts. That is Ghislaine. Without Ghislaine Maxwell, I don't think this gets done, Johnson. I don't think this happens. I don't think these countless young women and children are sexually abused if it weren't for Ghislaine Maxwell. In fact, any charge that was given to Jeffrey Epstein should be given right on to Maxwell and anybody else who helped facilitate these meetings, who coordinated this. Now, as far as evidence, written phone messages, part of a cache of Palm Beach police evidence from the 2005 investigation into Epstein, show Maxwell was an integral part of the billionaire's orbit. She received numerous calls at Epstein's Palm Beach home, including some that mentioned the term massage. Massage was a code word for even more activity. When Palm Beach police searched Epstein's home, they found pictures of a woman appearing to be Maxwell, including one in the nude. Now, a lot of us thought that this case was going to go away after the death of Epstein. But this may open the door all over again. All of the evidence, it's possible that Maxwell will give information as would have Epstein if he would have lived. So we may get to the bottom of this yet, Johnson. We may have the ability to find out other culprits, others who were using Epstein. Because Epstein, he was breaking the law. He was doing acts, but he also had friends that he would invite to his home to partake in these acts as well. He was a doer. He was a trick and a pimp. He was both. And so was Ghislaine Maxwell. Attorney Jack Scarola, who represented Epstein's victims, told CBS 12 News he's relatively certain Maxwell's indictment will not be the last. Scarola and numerous other attorneys involved in suing Jeffrey Epstein are encouraging victims to come forward. A victims' compensation fund has been created which allows victims to receive some form of restitution and also to remain anonymous. So, about the charges, what I know about the charges for Maxwell, there's at least six charges as we speak. 6 charges leveled by the FBI. The grand jury came back with the indictment. She has been arrested. 4 of those charges surround the illegal activity of transporting young girls for illegal activities. And 2 of the charges of the 6 revolve around perjury of her previously making false statements to the FBI and other authorities. She could go away for a very long time. And she's no young, she's 58 years old. She could very easily spend the rest of her life behind bars. And if this is true, that's good. She should spend the rest of her life behind bars. And I'm not a big advocate for mass incarceration. I'm not a big advocate for throwing people away in the system. But if you're a predator, there's worse things we could decide to do with you than put you in jail. So, yeah. What else about this case? Do you think maybe she'll live to serve time or live to go to actual trial and be convicted? And no, seriously, this is a question. Do you think she's gonna ride it out? Is she gonna get Epsteined, or will she actually be in court to stand before the people and the victims and actually be, take her medicine like a woman? You think that's going to happen? Or will some crazy outcome occur which will make that impossible? That being either suicide or some other means of doing away with her. I'm just saying, guys, I don't feel comfortable, man. I mean, Jeffrey Epstein was kind of a big deal. For you to allow him somehow to not be here? Come on. See, this is how everyone, they say, oh, you shouldn't have secured conspiracy theory. Well, look at this case. I mean, most people are very suspect about this. Very, very suspect. I don't know anyone who's like, well, he hung himself. I guess that's kind of convenient for him, but no one's like that. Everyone's like side-eyeing this. And now we have Ghislaine Maxwell. Well, let's see if we can do it right this time. Let's see if they will allow it to be done right this time. Remember, this is still tied to the highest levels of power and authority around the globe. So the same amount of scrutiny, the same amount of fear that these people, whoever's in those books, whoever took part, whoever flew across the country, whoever went to the dirty island, they're shaking in their boots all over again. So anyway, I'll update you on this case as it winds through. This is the first step, or I could say the second. The first would be the convening of the jury, and now the indictment and the arrest. Next, we'll see what happens. Interesting. Anybody seen that Netflix special, by the way? If you haven't seen the Netflix special, go check it out to get a more clear understanding. What they did to these what they did to these children. And that could have been your child. And they preyed on poor children who had problems at home. And we're talking straight up predators, man. Straight up low-life predators. Preying on young girls who had estranged with their family or who felt awkward, who lacked confidence for any reason, which are most young girls who are developing, who don't feel that comfortable with themselves yet, and in the transitional stage from puberty to adulthood. Taking advantage of the psychology behind that. That's why I say Ghislaine Maxwell was integral in this whole operation. She almost is more culpable than Jeffrey Epstein, in my opinion, because I don't think he could do it without her. If the news you watch makes you more confused after you watch it, watch The Tim Black Show and know what's going on. Go to patreon.com, Tim's Take Live. Join today.